Hey everyone, welcome to another Gadget Talk. Welcome to Tuesday night, or as Bill on the Move told me earlier today, it's POTS, the plain old Tuesday show. So, all right, but welcome. And of course, I'm Derek, and I'm joined as always with the genius, the man with the plan, Chad Bounce. How you doing, Chad?
Good evening, everybody. Thanks, Derek. Appreciate it. Yeah, doing good. Ready for another Tuesday night show here.
Yeah, I hope we can weather this. I hope we can weather through this show tonight.
Yeah, good one.
Sorry,
yes,
I had to get that one in
we'll
there.
See.
I had to get that one in there. So because
That's
we're talking
good.
about weathering tonight of caches, and not whether you find the cache or not, but how you might be able to do some cool painting and make it look different than what it actually looks like. So that's what we're going to be talking about tonight. So, but before we get too much further into all of this, is that we are going to hold on. No, Tom. Sorry. Tom comment. So if we're a guest on the show, you're doing pot? No, we're not. No. It's Gadget Talk, the plain old Tuesday show. Anyway, all right. So before we get too much further, let's go ahead and take care of our sponsors, and then we'll be ready to start weathering these caches.
If you have not become a patron of the Geocache Talk Network, what are you waiting for? Patron levels start as low as a Bison Tube level at $3 a month. To sign up is easy. Simply go to the Geocache Talk website and click on the Become a Patron button, or go to patreon.com/Geocache Talk. Patrons now get the famous Blackout coin, invites to special events, and other really great items throughout the year. Become a patron today.
Logwork, the creators of the fantastic logbook, made with genuine Write-in-the-Rain paper. The logbook's designed for the micro containers of the present and future, geared towards the hider who'd rather go caching than doing cache maintenance. Find them at logwork.com. That's LOGWERK.com.
Have you subscribed to FTF Magazine yet? FTF Magazine is the #1 geocaching magazine available. It is a quarterly magazine that you can be part of. Submit your geocaching milestones and adventures to be published. FTF Magazine is also interactive with puzzles to solve and the hunt to find Spartacus. If you can solve the puzzle or find Spartacus, then you will be entered in to win a special path tag. Every new subscription, you will receive a special swag pack. Subscribing is easy. Just visit FTF's website, ftfgeo.com. Don't miss out and subscribe today.
All right. Now that we got through that, seeing so many people in the chat already, we got Darren in here saying good day, y'all. Of course, then we got Geo Tribe 5 saying hello. The boss, Gary Slinker, sup, everyone. Ryan saying hello, Ryan Simmel. Bell on the Move, hi, guys. Mini Mag, hi. And GCDSK11, log work, good stuff. I use these in many of my caches. Yeah, really great, and I'm so happy that they're one of our sponsors of the show. Really do appreciate their paper, their stuff, and it's just amazing. We did remember the show back when we first started doing this, that we had it sitting in there for over a week in water, Chad, wasn't it? And then we wrote on it.
Oh yeah, that was Write-in-the-Rain paper.
Write-in-the-Rain, which is
same
from
paper,
Logwork.
I guess. Same thing.
Paper that's from Logwork. So sorry, sometimes I get those. Yeah, Write-in-the-Rain paper made from Logwork. So good example of what that paper will do. So really great.
Yeah.
Hey Gary, we should be coming up on. I know I'm talking to Gary in the chat room. So Gary, shouldn't we be doing some promotional for Write-in-the-Rain here sometime soon? Usually it's about this time. So hope to be in the look for that. We'll see what happens with that. But glad to see that everybody is here tonight. No. Okay. Do I need to explain this? Okay. I don't need to. Thanks, Ryan. Ryan's saying, please join Patreon to help buy Derek a razor. Curtis wants to see a beard, see me in a beard. So I'm growing the beard. Him and his friend are actually in a competition. You guys are going to die laughing on this one because it's going to be a long-term competition. They are trying to see who can grow the best beard.
Not me. I'm not a beard grower.
I
actually shaved today, but
yeah,
I wait till November beard before I do that.
so yeah, I'm trying, but yeah, it's like I got a whisker. No, you don't. Here, and I pulled it, and like now you got to start all over. Bell on the Move's asking who's building a sci-fi cache. That is what their competition is this month. Not the competition, our challenge is this month, is to build a sci-fi cache. I believe Bell on the Move's got one for us.
Yes.
That he's going to be
So
on.
there's some pictures. I'm excited for them to come on and show that.
Yep.
Actually pretty cool.
Sorry, everybody's all right.
No worries.
Anyway, it's going to get better. I promise. I've had one before. Let's hear. And then I've seen some other ones that are going to be jumping in on there as well. So, but I definitely know that Bell on the Move's got one in there. Who else did we have? Chad?
You?
Me?
I'm gonna try and get one. We'll see.
Yeah, I got some up on my shelf that I've got that we might have seen before, but there's always some different ideas that we could do.
We'll see. We want some people to come in and join us and build some of these caches. So make sure you do that. Send us an email with some photos beforehand, and we'll send you the link.
Right. Mini Mag is working on his cache right now.
Nice.
So, yep. Rumba Cast is in the house. Thank you. Hey, did the caches
I think
last
Doug
week?
is going to join. I think.
Yep. So I think we're going to have some pretty good. Good. So, all right, good. I've got some people in here saying that it's coming in good. So, all right. All right. So let's move on to how we can maybe weather some of these caches, and maybe it might help me be able to weather some of these comments on my beard here. So,
sure. Okay. Well, then, where were we? Where did we leave off? I guess just doing the latex, right? I think that's where we were. Yeah.
Wherever we're starting.
So let's start with a coverage. So, do you have that photo of the filler on there up? So on my prints, it's okay.
I can pull it up. I know where we have it. So yeah.
Okay. Why don't you pull it up, and I'll start talking about it. So, however you make these. So we're going to be talking about a couple caches. This is a Scream one. And I actually repainted this because I don't know if people remember from last week, I forgot to actually weather the top before I painted it yellow. So I repainted it my silver color, and which is my base coat, which is what you're going to see when you weather it. And you can do any color you want. I just like silver. The silver I like to use here, it's actually a nickel, a satin nickel, a metallic satin nickel, is what I like to use for base. Or I like to also use the, depending on what it is, the hammered steel, hammered metal look, which also takes away from the look of a 3D cache. It actually fills in a lot of the bumps and the build lines on the 3D print.
Right.
So, which is kind of nice, but you have to like that look. So anyways, I painted the silver. I didn't do a crazy great job on it, but it's going to show through right where I want it to. So typically on my 3D print, there you go.
There's
My 3D print. Yes. Thank you. So I take my 3D print and I use the acrylic or the acrylic filler there. I rub it on there and then I sand it off smooth onto the or sand it off smooth, and then I'll end up putting a primer coat on it, which I usually use the fill primer as the coating. Sand it one more time, and then I'll go ahead and paint it.
Right. And you told me that you use two different fillers. Which one do you like using?
Let me go grab them here. Give me 2 seconds.
I'll put links in those. So.
Oh, okay. I believe I sent you the link to them.
Right. You have an acrylic white glazing putty, and then you have a Bondo style.
Yeah. So, let me grab them here. So one I use a lot, and I just happened to pull the new one out of the package. I use the Bondo glazing putty quite a bit. Now this stuff smells, so you want to use it in a ventilated area. Or I use the glazing putty, the acrylic. So one that I use there is the white acrylic, the 3M glazing putty. I also have a green as well, which is the same thing, just green.
Okay.
So I like to use this actually, and it dries Bondo, Bondo one.
Yep, it's in the link. The link is in the chat. So that's the one filler, and then the acrylic white glazing is going in right now as well.
So the Bondo is kind of nice because you can pick it up at Home Depot, an auto parts store, any place like that. So it's easy access, easy to get to. It works well. This 3M stuff you have to buy online. I haven't found it in the store yet. So it's a little bit harder to get, but the tube is quite a bit bigger on there.
Right.
And I don't think it stinks as much myself, but anyway, I guess I could say the ounces, 14.5 ounces versus 4.5. So it's 10 ounces bigger.
Right. And I have both of them on the way from Amazon. So they'll be here Saturday. So I can go and fix my screen canister.
It works good. I've used the Bondo a lot more than the other glazing putty, but I've really liked the glazing putty a little bit better. Anyways, so I cover it up, and all I do when I make that is I take the Bondo, the filler putty, put it on my finger, and I just smear it all over the top of this. It's going to dry fairly quickly. So you don't want to take too long. And then about 15 minutes, you can sand it. So, anyway, sand it smooth, primer it, use primer filler, sand it one more time. And then you can either prime it one more time and paint it. I just painted it myself. So now I have my silver base coat that I'm going to have weather through there. And then what we're going to do, then what we're going to do is add the acrylic, or the liquid latex. So there's a liquid latex here I use. This is on Amazon as well. I guess I should probably have sent that to you. You can use whatever you. I did a couple samples here because I know you could use latex caulk if you want. It's a little bit thicker, but I've not used latex caulk before. This liquid latex works real well. So I like to use it, and it doesn't take much, and it dries. This stuff dries really fast. All I'm going to do, and you can do this yourself, obviously, when you're going through it, it's like you got to kind of try and think where you're going to put wear lines on these, where it's going to see action as far as getting bumped or rubbed, where it's going to get weathered more at. So what I'm going to do is I keep a whole bunch of different brushes. I go with a really fine tip brush on mine. And then I keep fine tip, a medium, and then a medium tip as well in case I want to go a little bit bigger. That's typically all I need to do on mine. So this liquid latex actually came with these brushes. I just haven't used them. They're a little bit too big for me. So
show me the bottle one more time, Chad.
The bottle, sure. Don't want to tip it with the
I don't want you to tip it. Okay.
So it's liquid latex. Right. This is called drawing gum, but it's just a liquid latex. It's on Amazon. Is where I purchased it from. Did you find it? Okay. Yep, I don't recall how much it was at all. I bought this a couple of years ago. It's
$8.44.
Okay. It's lasted a long time. So all I'm going to do is dip my brush into this here and then figure out where I'm going to have some wear line. So I'm thinking that people are going to grab it or it's going to get wear underneath these.
Right.
Areas here. I don't know what you call these on this container exactly. So I'm just going to, what's up? Oh,
no, I'm just laughing what we're going to call them.
Okay. I thought there was something to comment. I don't know. I'm not very technical. I'm not a good painter either, so don't judge me. So I'm just going to paint right along these edges of this. And this is why I'm using the fine brush because I don't want to be too big. Now, if you want to have a little bit bigger in the corner, like it chipped, you can go a little bit bigger. So I'm going like crazy big on here. And you can always, if you don't like it, once it dries, you can rub it off and put some more on, or you can actually, before it's dry, you can probably just do that. So, but now I just wiped it all off. So I'm just thinking along this whole edge. I'm just going to put a little bit. Doesn't have to be too thick. Sometimes I have gone over it twice because once you get a coat of paint on there, it's hard to know where it is.
Right.
But You know, that's up to you. So I have some paint around there, or some latex, and then around the top in places. You can go as thick as you want or as fine as you want. I'll show you another way to make it a little bit finer, or if you forget to do this, there's another way to shade it. So also on here, when I did this filler job, I did a real quick job last time. And so I did a really bad filler job. So I'm going to pretend that got worn in there. So I'm actually just going to put some liquid latex in this crack area here.
Oh yeah, that's
cool. Actually looks like it hit something.
Yeah, it got dropped. Somebody screamed and it fell.
Yeah.
Well, it was a screen canister, right? So
yeah.
So I don't think you've pointed it. I'm actually, before we get to that, I'm just looking at piece, and then it says, why is it every time I watch Gadget Talk, I think about house hunting for a place that would have an awesome workshop?
Me too.
So, and CP590K greetings from the freezing cold Long Island, New York. Well, hey, welcome. So yeah, I'm sorry it's cold where you're at. It's chilly here in Memphis. It's just FYI to what we think is chilly. It's 41 degrees outside right now, but
so I put some stuff on here, and then underneath, I'm thinking that the way that this container is, let me grab the other container real quick. Is in here. I'm thinking that something grabs this. So I think it's going to get some wear a lot along this edge here.
Okay.
I think the way it gets held is here and there in the show. I don't remember. So I'm going to go ahead on the bottom of this. That's this area here. I'm going to do the exact same thing I did on that, is run some latex on here too.
Just some random kind of wear.
Yeah. I mean, it's all, I've tried to well, I'm not a painter, so I can't make sense of it. But if I've tried to overthink it, I actually like it if I just go for it. And
right.
And honestly, if I don't like it after I peel it, I could just touch up the paint a little bit.
Right. And that's why we're using the latex, is because when we put the next coat on of paint, it'll actually peel right off.
Yes,
and
I guess I should have explained that. Yeah.
Yeah. I knew we were going to get to it, so I wasn't too worried about it, but that's what we're doing. It's liquid latex. I mean, it's like basically you're putting a rubber film on it, and then we're going to paint it, and then we just pull it right off of it. And the silver will still be there, in the yellow or whatever color you're painting it. I believe you're using yellow tonight. Will actually come through. So it adds that wear and tear look to it. And that's why you just think about where your different bumps and nicks and rub marks and all that aspect of it would be as you're on this. So, hey, Chad, if you can move it just a little bit to your right.
Oh, sorry.
There you go. I know you're juggling over where the cameras are.
I'm blind, so I have to try and look for it, but that's okay. I can't see what I'm doing.
And I know with as it's drying on the silver, that the color is a little bit difficult to see on some angles, but you can kind of see right there where it's at is the latex.
See that dark blue in there? That's dry.
Right. Okay. How long does it usually take for that latex to dry?
It's going to take 15 to 20 minutes. Typically, I think it just depends on also the temperature of your shop.
Okay. Could you possibly, to get it to go faster, use a heat gun in case those of us that are very impatient?
I'm sure you can. Here, I have a heat gun right here.
I knew you would. So, but yeah, this is.
Hopefully, I don't bubble my paint
or melt.
Yeah, I mean that's like drying it up right away. Yeah, or melt the print.
Yeah, melt the print.
So yeah, I mean it dries really quick with that.
Yeah. Adielson says may crack it. So it may crack the actual paint itself, which actually may add to another texture of your wear. So we'll see. Hey, this is like we said, we're always experimenting, always trying to figure out what what's going to work and what's not going to work. So
anyways, you just go through your build and you do this on every part of your canister. I mean, it's kind of boring to sit here and watch me paint. So I'm bored doing it. So no, it's just one of those things. I turn a good TV channel on the History Channel typically, and just sit here and paint.
Or a good podcast or a good live stream. Yeah. So I've been watching a lot of recently. One of the ones I watch is Adam Savage, watching his different things that he's been doing on his, and I've really been learning that and watching that. Yeah, Tom says it's like watching paint dry.
Mm-hmm. I agree, Tom.
And then Gary says, I'm glued into this.
So I think this is pretty good for me just to show you guys how it's done. I might look at it a little bit closer later and add a little bit more to it. Not sure yet. But anyway, and it doesn't have to be along the edges. I mean, you can see I put a mark here like it was dropped.
Right.
You know, same with here, like it was scratched. It's up to you. So, you know, I don't think there's a right or a wrong way to do it. So you can see here, the latex is already drying on there. So, I didn't bring any water up here with me to rinse this right away, but it should be okay. I have a lot of brushes. I buy a bunch of those brushes by bulk, so
right,
shouldn't be a big deal. Okay, so next, once you get that done, you're going to go paint it, which I guess we could. I'm going to wait on that painting it.
You give it just a few minutes.
So once you have it painted, just like anything, right? You sit there and you paint it until it's done. You go back and you rub off the liquid latex, and so I actually did a sample here just so I didn't have to sit there and paint live. That'd really be like watching paint dry of just the liquid latex on here. And you can kind of see the marks here. And this is just acrylic that I put silver under. You just got to sit there and rub it off. It's pretty simple. You do that everywhere where you saw where you put it. And I was kind of messing around. I did a thing here that looked like someone etched a Geocache logo into some metal.
Right. Yeah, so you just rub that off, and then it just reveals that lower layer on there. So that's just a real easy, simple way of doing this. Yeah, and I just really like that. That's really, really great. And you can do this on any type of cache, as long as you're using the primer on there. So we're talking about weathering, and I mentioned Adam Savage's Savage channel. Bell on the Move says the weathering on Adam Savage's Iron Man suit is awesome. So anything you're doing that you want to do.
I'm embarrassed to teach this because I'm definitely not as good as a lot of guys out there on YouTube.
Well, and we're just showing techniques and giving ideas. So this is really great. I love this, and so
that's pretty much it. Sorry, Derek. So that's pretty much it. Once you get it on there, it dries. You paint it. Then you just rub off the areas where you put your latex. So, and so I also did some here with some caulking to see how it turned out, because I know you can do it with caulking. It obviously went on a lot thicker, and it doesn't feel like, I thought it was dry, but it doesn't feel like it even dried.
Yeah, so and because you're trying a different substance there with caulking. Quincy says I've used white glue and the clear glue gel too. So you can do it, not necessarily with the latex glue, but even with the glue. Because I mean, how many of us as kids would put the Elmer's glue in our palm of our hand and let it dry and then peel it off? I mean, it's the same concept of that is what we're doing. So it's just a technique, things that a lot of us don't think about as we're doing different things, how to do the weathering of a cache, or how to do it. This would be great on an ammo can. you could do some really cool textures. I mean, you could make it really camouflaged, different aspects of it, have the color, then you paint it and do one set of latex on one, and then you paint it again and do another set of latex on another, paint another color. You can do the latex in multiple layers as you're going through, and then when you peel it off, it just comes off in all different ways. So it's what you want, what you think you can want to do with as you're building or as you're painting, doing this. Yeah, it's as Quincy says, it's just a resistant procedure. Yeah, so you're just whatever's going to resist that. I mean, I'm sure you could technically maybe put some like Vaseline on there, and so when you paint it, it would do a different texture on there and wipe it off. So I mean, it's just whatever you're doing. What you're doing is just putting a substance on there to keep the paint from sticking to the surface. Is what you're doing.
Right. Let me grab one. Oh, there it is right there. I was like, I grabbed something. So this is the same thing here that I did with the latex as my sample. And so I painted it with the satin nickel. And then I went over it with another metal, which is the flat, soft iron look. And then this is the latex that I put on here just to show how easy it is to come off. This was just a scrap piece. This is from a ceiling fan, actually. But how easy it is to, once you have it on there and everything dries, you just have to rub it, and anywhere where that latex is, it will come off.
Right.
Really, really simple. So just to show how easy it is to make happen. So anyway,
that's cool.
Yeah, really easy. I almost forgot about this one. Okay. So I'm not going to paint this container here, the stream one, just the top of it. But I can show a little bit more weathering as well, using a little bit of an airbrush, adding a little bit of wear, like some aging dirt type of look to it, to a cache as well. So let's go ahead and let me jump over to that there.
Okay, so we're adding the other build cam. Okay.
And so, let me remove this. That's the top to the container. So I actually need to add latex to that and then spray it, which I could do that real quick. Actually, if we go over here, let's go back over to this other build cam, because then I can just spray this real quick. So this is the top piece that goes on top of here.
Okay.
And I did not spend any time on filling this here in the build line. Just drive me a little bit crazy. I'll probably end up doing it here before I paint the whole thing. Anyways, this goes on top. Now, I want it to be a different color than yellow. I don't want it to be silver. So I'm actually going to go back over it with the metallic, the iron look. So it'll actually end up being dark like this.
Okay.
So I'm thinking that something goes into this, touches it, turns it, whatever it does to open the valve. So let me grab my latex here.
Sorry. Just reading comments. Tom says, can we apply these techniques to stuff to sell in an antique store? Asking for a friend. Ryan says, we've used vinyl cutouts for Moga ammo cans. So yeah, even laying vinyl and just then peeling the vinyl up the same way that you could do it that way as well. I mean, this is just, there's many different ways of doing a weathering technique. We're just showing this way with the latex because it's pretty quick, and you don't have to sit there and print anything up. You have your liquid latex and you have a paintbrush, and as good as you are to paint, then you got it. So and then Pizza Ninja says, note to self, don't buy antiques fresh from a paint job from Tom. So yeah, probably not. I mean, this reminds me of a sign I've seen. It says, new antiques daily. So at a store.
Nice. Okay, so this is on here, and I actually will use what you're saying. I'm going to speed up the drying process real quick.
So as for the audio listeners, Chad's got the heat gun and he's drying the latex on this part quickly so we can go ahead and kind of see what this is going to look like. And I just want to thank everybody for joining us tonight on Tuesday night for the new format that we are here every Tuesday night now for Gadget Talk. Sorry, I'm talking and trying to read at the same time. Sometimes I pause there. But I just want to thank everybody for joining us tonight as we are doing another Gadget Talk. And I hope everybody loves this new format as we're kind of going over different techniques, simple techniques that you can do, not just on gadget caches, but on any type of caches. And I appreciate GCDX SK11 saying placing an order with Amazon tonight. I really do appreciate that. Does help the channel. Those are affiliate links. So just remember, that's what that helps the channel. Anything that you buy does help the channel. No extra cost to you or anybody. It's just part of how the Amazon affiliate program works. But it does help out the channel. And so, yeah, it's just what we're trying to do is do different techniques and also just give you something more on Tuesday nights that you guys could, that we part of what we do. So we got doing this last week. We talked about more of the sci-fi style containers, and we're talking about different aspects of that, and then going through how to use a template last week. And so as we're going through this different format, we're going to do different techniques. At times, sometimes Chad's going to be doing them. Sometimes I may be doing them here in my shop. We'll be doing different stuff off in here. But yeah, we're just kind of do. Last week I thought it was really great because we were using tools that a lot of others would have. So we had a router, hand router, and different aspects of it that it's easier to do because not all of us have the huge, nice, beautiful laser cutters or the CNC machine, which we're all jealous of Chad because that's basically where he's going back to right now is back to the CNC machine or actually his paint booth. So, but I'm going to go ahead and pull in that build cam now, Chad, for your paint booth. And so we can see how you're painting that top after you've got it dried.
So hopefully that fan's not too loud on the paint booth, but
I don't even hear it.
Okay, good. So I want this to be up off the ground. So I use, this is just a reducer for PVC pipe. So I just use that to set it on. And then I'm just going to go ahead and spray it. So I actually have a vent system. It's a paint booth. So there's a air filters and stuff. It sucks it out. So I don't have to sit here and smell the fan. So just don't do this in your house. And you should always I should even be wearing a mask still, but anyway, I'm just going to go to quickly spray this.
Yeah, for when I do my painting, I just step outside my back door right here by the shop.
Yeah.
And I'll go take care of it. As long as it's not raining.
And I don't want to do too much. I'll do several coats on it. I don't want to get any runs. So anyways, I'll come back and do that. And I have normally a rack system over here that they sit on. But because I need the light, I don't have it there. I'll just stick this somewhere else for now.
All right.
So anyway, okay. So a couple different things on this, and I don't do a ton of work on using the airbrush for what's wrong?
No, I just read Tom's
the wrong camera.
No. I was just changing the camera to change it up a little bit, but Tom says, don't do this in your house. Go to a friend's house. Yeah.
I don't like doing it in my own house. I ordered all the paint booth stuff for the new one, and it should be here Saturday. So hopefully this weekend I'll be building a new paint booth. So this one I did temporarily. So
is that going to be in the other room?
Huh? No, it'll be in this room.
In that room?
No, it'll be in this room. I want to keep away from all the dust.
Yeah.
So, okay. So what are we going to paint?
I don't know, you tell me.
So a couple different things you could do to age it. Let me just grab that container.
Okay.
Full of stuff.
Well, it's like a gadget. It's like a cache. It's got to be full of stuff, right? That's the swag that you're dumping out of it.
And finish taking it apart. And we'll do the bottom of it. So my thought is, because of the black cylinder here, there's probably going to be some more dust that collects inside this area here, right? And maybe inside these little crevices here. So I am going to. I was looking for. It's kind of funny. I had.
Ryan's asking, is that a Lazy Susan or a cake stand that you got that you're putting your stuff on?
Yeah, it's a cake decorating stand.
Okay.
Yeah, it's really inexpensive, but they work great because you can just sit there and spin it when you're painting. You don't have to worry about moving it by hand. So give me 1 second here. I'm sorry.
So yeah, Ryan likes that. Says that's very smart. Tom's saying, seriously, do this in a well-ventilated area. The volatile organic compounds, aka new car smell, aren't good for your brain cells. And I'm sorry, Tom, I'm just wondering if you're saying this from experience or if that's just common knowledge on that. So I had to get that little jab in there. So
I don't know if anybody knows how this paintbrush works or airbrush. So you have this little button here, right? And if you push down, it flows air, but not paint.
Push it a little bit further over the thing.
Oh, sorry. So if you push down on here, on this little button, if you push down, it will flow air, but not paint. And you got to pull it back. And the further you pull it back, the more paint it sprays. So if I go down, let's see. There's something to spray on here. Piece of paper. So you can see if I'm pushing down, it's just air's coming out, no paint. And then the slower you come back, it depends on how far back you come. You get a little bit of paint out of it, and you can come all the way back and get a lot. Also, the closer you are, the finer the detail. So if you're trying to do little dots, oops, sorry, the paper moved.
And it takes a lot of practice.
Or you do big dots. So yeah, and I'm not Picasso at airbrushing, so I'm in close. So anyway, that's kind of how it works. I'm planning on just doing a fine spray on this. Nothing major. And it takes practice, and I'm not that great at it. So I'm just going to go through here and just slowly put in some. I don't know if you can see the little bit of black going in there.
Not really, because it's on this bottom side of it. It's kind of hard to see it.
Yeah, it's probably a bad one to do. So anyways, I'm just going to I'm just putting a little bit of black in here. It's not much at all, just to kind of give it that little bit of a dirt look. Like it's dirty. Come down a little bit.
So I just dropped a link in the chat, and that is actually a cheap decorating stand, because I was asked if I could put one in there. So there's an affiliate link for a cake decorating stand in there. Just something, rotating cake turntable. You even get the 2 icing spatulas, so you can maybe use those for like other stuff. You can like slap your mud on the ammo can and then paint it and then wipe the mud off. I don't know. Maybe that's another way you can weather it. So.
So anyway, it's hard to see.
Oh,
so
I see it there.
That's how I go through. Yeah, it's kind of, and you can go back over with some yellow, whatever you want to, if you don't like it. And like I said, I'm not a professional at it. I consider Norman doing this part of it, weathering, but it really is, it adds a lot to it. The thing I usually use, the way I usually do it is for my pit droids, and I'll show that real quick.
Oh yeah, your pit droid had some really awesome weathering on it.
Let's see where. Oh, there it is.
And I did this when I did some AT. Actually, I can see it back here. See if I can get it to focus on my backdrop here real quick. But is back here on the back when I did these beds. You can kind of see the weathering that I did back here behind my Shopsmith. I did some weathering on this here. This is a set of bunk beds that I had at one point, and it was the AT-ATs from Star Wars, and that there was some knots in the wood, and I went back through with an airbrush and I hit those, so it made it look like it was battle damage. So that's kind of another type of weathering, and it didn't look as good until I went back and did the weathering. It just looked too clean. It looked too precision, and I just didn't like it. So coming back and adding that weathering to it really helped it a lot, and just added that battle damage, and I thought it made it look really cool. So all right, so now let's go back to the booth. Okay, I'm back on yours now.
Okay. Yeah. And they recommend doing some, you can do some, if you watch people do it, they'll do some lines that are definite lines, and they'll go back over it with the gray and then do a light coat over it, which then makes it fades it out a little bit and makes it look like it's a real weathering thing. So anyway, so what I'm going to do is I watered it down a little bit, not as much as I wanted to, because I just spilt my paint cup. What I'm going to do is like a pit droid is going to get a lot of, I don't know, water it down some more. It's going to get more dirt inside all these little areas here.
Right.
And so what I'm going to do is just go ahead and spray inside these areas. And there's a couple different ways to do this. You can do it and around these. But once you get in here, you can take a towel. Oh, I just used it to wipe that up. Let me grab another towel here.
Yeah. So yeah, you can grab a towel and kind of wipe it up, because I'm like I said, it's now. Are you thinning that out with water, or are you thinning it out with paint thinner? Because I've seen
it's a thinner.
Both ways.
Yeah, so this is actually water based. So I just use some water on it. If you have oil based lacquer, so depending on what it is, what we use on our RC cars is typically this kind. And so you use a lacquer thinner.
Okay.
Right. But this is oil based. This is water based stuff, which I prefer to work with. So anyway, once you get it on there, if you don't like it, or if you want to have a good look to it, you can actually sit there and rub it off and rub it in, and it will actually just fill in the crevices and not the areas that it's working on, really. And you can always re-add
really
them
cool.
to it if you want. You know, it's kind of one of those things. It's just like weathering to me. I you need to decide on what you want, and then just go from there.
Right,
So
and that's really great for like if you have the end the cutouts like what you have there on that part that right now, because it's just going to stick to the lower parts where you don't wipe it off. So I think that's really cool. I think that's
right, and that's where the dirt would typically collect.
Right.
In this, probably underneath the elbow.
And if you're unsure where the dirt's going to collect, just leave it. Go ahead and paint it one time, perfectly clean, and then put it somewhere and forget about it, and come back and you'll see where the dirt is. Clean it up and then put the dirt back. So I mean, it's just that easy.
I'm going to try it. I'm going to do a heavier coat here and see about wiping it off.
Yeah, I like it because at the bottom of it kind of has that where it's has that little bit of a scratch, or it has a little roughness to it, or where it dips a little bit. It just dirties that up, and it just looks really, really great. I mean, this is just when you're making props or you're making a cache and you're just wanting to add that little extra to it. You could do it like this. I mean, I've done that. You can even do this. It's going to be a lot messier, but you can kind of even do this with spray paint if you're down to it. But it's easier to do with an airbrush. And airbrushes are hard because there's two different. There's two different type of airbrushes that you can get. You can get a dual action and a single action airbrush. Single action is that when you push it, it blows air and paint at the same time. Whereas a dual action is what Chad's using, where you push it down and it blows air, and then you pull it back, and then it lets the paint flow through. Different people
this
like
is a single action here. I'm not really that great at it.
What you're using is a single action or a double action?
Right here.
Oh, okay, yeah.
This one.
Single action is a lot harder to use because as soon as you hit it, it goes.
And you could adjust it. So that's what this little thread is here, is to adjust your airflow. So when you hit it, just that amount of air and paint come out at one time.
Right.
I don't know if you can see that. So, but
Right. I've used a dual action, and they you can just go to a hobby store and pick one up, and then if you have a compressor or different aspects of it, then you want to use that. But there's some other things that you may want to put in. I was trying to see if I had one over here. There's a filter that you can get, so the moisture from your compressor doesn't come in through the paint to mess it up and all that. So there's different filters that you can put on there through your compressor hose and stuff, or you can just get a designated compressor at a hobby store. I'm sure I can find them on Amazon, but they're kind of, I don't want to lead you to a direction that I don't have. So I don't have my paintbrush anymore. It broke down. So, but you want to keep those nice and clean as well with any tool.
So normally when I will do this here, where I just want to fill in the dirt areas, I water it down a lot. But since I spilt my filler or my fluid, my water, I just sprayed with what I had, and then I'm just going to go in here and aggressively wipe it off as much as I can. Now you can use a Brillo pad too to wipe it off, and it kind of scuffs it at the same time. It's up to you. You know, whatever you feel like doing. So anyways, that puts a little bit of dirt in the coins. I don't like it because it's too even inside there. So if it was a little bit wetter, I probably could get some more of it out. But anyway, that's just kind of part of weathering it.
Right. Okay, so I am going to go ahead and put a link in here. It's for a Master Airbrush Cool Runner dual fan air compressor, professional airbrushing system kit with 3 airbrushes, gravity and siphon feed, 6 primary, and some colors and stuff like that. So there is a link in the chat right now for that, and it's the compressor and an airbrush, and it actually has 3 different types.
This is mine here, and so what you're talking about for the water is the container right here,
and it's the same compressor that you have. So
yeah, I prefer one with a tank. Well, it depends on how much you're going to paint. You may want to have a tank separate or with it as well, but that's up to you. If you're going to do a lot of spraying, you want the extra tank to hold the air. I don't spray that much, and the compressor keeps up with it. So anyway, it's up to you what you want, what you like.
Right.
Absolutely.
So and that compressor with the 3 airbrushes and the paint is $150. So on Amazon right now. That's a
I think my wife got this for me a year ago. I think on Walmart because it was cheaper. Well, I think it was cheaper. She might have got it at Walmart online because then she knew I wouldn't see the Amazon. I was getting one. I always see the Amazon account. That might be what it is. So anyway, that's that. You can do any color you want. There's not really any science to it. I usually wear gloves when I'm painting too, but it's just kind of fun to do. Right. But again, it's completely up to you. If you end up doing something like this, let us know. Send us some pictures. I'd love to see how your weathering came out. Yeah,
I would too. And it's just another technique, like we were saying. It's just another technique that as you're doing these different caches, how to do this. I mean, the 3D print of the screen canister, and just hold it up for me, Chad, one more time. It looks really cool. Anyways, I've been printing it. I have one. Mine is in black, just straight black right now. I don't have all of it. And I'm having issues with one on my top for it printing. Something's not leveling off on my my printer. So I got to reprint that, but it's all black. And I'm like, once I get the filler and I'm gonna paint it, and mine may not be yellow. I don't know. I have other colors that may make it look something else. But this is just a really great way of doing this. I really like this. Even going back, if you're really good at an airbrush, you can weather the entire thing with airbrush, not even use the latex technique. There's
and then you can come on and show us how to do it.
Exactly. And all you have to do is just send us a comment to Instagram at Gadget Talk Podcast on there. So you can put it on there at Gadget Talk Podcast. Send us a message on there. Show us how you're weathering your different caches. Or even just like Chad was saying, send us an email at gadgettalkpodcast@gmail.com and let us know. So that's just really great. I just really love this. This is like a simple technique that you can do this on different caches. You can do this on your wood caches, on your ammo cans. You can do it on, if you wanted to even do it on a bison tube, you can do it on a bison tube. You can do it on a nano. This is just different ways that you can do it, because who knows? Maybe you have a big cache and the actual log is on a nano somewhere on the cache, and you want it to blend in and look a certain way. Weather it and make it look like it's a little hole, and that's actually where the log is. The rest of it, there's no way to get into it. It's that. I don't know. Maybe that's just an idea, and that's just something that you can do with this technique. So there's a lot of different things that you can do with this technique.
Keep going. I'm going to grab something while you're talking.
Okay. So I'm just looking back at the comments. Pizza Ninja says, I like the Adam Savage weathering technique of hitting items with chains. It's effective and entertaining. I've seen people do that with like furniture. So you hit it with the chains and it kind of weathers it and kind of does that aspect of it. I've seen that. I don't know how well that would work with a plastic ammo can. I think it would break, especially in cold weather. But yeah, that's another way of doing it. I saw a video or somebody weathered a ammo can to make it look really rusty. It would look so real, and the rust was absolutely fake. It was a brand new pristine ammo can, and it just looked really, really cool. I wish I had a picture of it. So yeah, Bell on the Move says distressing is fun. Being distressed is always fun. I mean, stress is not fun, but so if you can figure out how to be de-stressed, that's great. So, all right, just kind of
we do a lot of rust stuff too. I actually have rust colors too.
Okay.
But anyway, I was just thinking an airbrush is another way to also stencil that, which works really well.
Right.
You find something here real quick.
So Quincy's saying plastic model building sites have a lot of weathering techniques as well. And they do. And like I said, we're just showing a couple of really simple techniques that you can do that doesn't cost a lot of money. I mean, the airbrushing is really cool, and you can do a lot of stuff with airbrushing. But it does take some time to be really good at it if you want to do that aspect of it. But to do simple, make something look dirty instead of being clean, it's great. And there's tons of YouTube channels of how to do that as well.
Let me see if this will work. Some scrap wood. So I was just thinking, I'm kind of doing this the opposite, but if you had a logo that you wanted on something, and Ryan was kind of mentioning about using vinyl.
Right.
So you can actually use the airbrush just to airbrush it in here to slowly get a nice finish on it to where there's not too much paint on it. Sometimes with stencils you get
that bleed.
Some running underneath that bleeding.
Yep.
And so an airbrush just puts out a tiny bit of air, as much as you want, and it actually will not get that running or bleeding through. And so, as you see here, I'm not a professional at it, but I'm just slowly going on here, and then we'll take it off here in a second. Just to see, and it's just going to kind of give it a little outline of hopefully that stencil.
Yeah, it should, and it'll actually look really cool. So it's going to be a reverse outline. I can see as you're getting it up there. Yeah, that looks cool.
So anyway, as you were mentioning that, I thought about that as well. So that's kind of another fun way you can stencil or put something on there. And it's very light. So when you use spray paint, it's thicker as well. And so you feel that hump, you feel that transition between the two paints. This, you're not going to really feel any difference between the two paints. So I can take the paint that I use to spray the Scream can and actually stencil something on top of it or whatever to clean it up. So it's actually kind of another way to make things happen.
Yeah, that's cool. I like that. That's another, like I said, that's another way of using an airbrush. So, all right, cool. Let me go to these cameras here. All right. Well, Chad, this has really been cool. I've liked these techniques. These are really easy techniques that I think just about anybody can do, especially the latex, using the liquid latex and to weather it that way and just painting it. Because if you don't have an airbrush, I mean, you can get a spray paint can at the hardware store, get the liquid latex and paint it on there, and then weather it that way. So I think it's really great to be able to do it that way. I love the vinyl that you did at the end with the airbrush and kind of do that reverse silhouette in there. That's really cool. I love that look. Maybe you could that'd be a great way if you wanted to if you were able to have like a Cricut cutter machine and you lay the vinyl in with your text that you have everything in there, your directions of how to do your gadget cache. And then you went back and you did the painting really over top of it and pull it off. And it has like that shadowy look to it. And you could even come back with different, this would be really cool. You make it camouflage except for the letters themselves and maybe have that as silver. So when you actually camouflage it, all you're doing is laying those layers on top of it. And it creates that really great look of the directions of how to do it. Just some different techniques that you can do using the vinyl, using the liquid latex. You could write out your directions with the liquid latex, and maybe it's a scary cache and it's kind of look all jagged or whatever you're going to do. This is just another way of being able to do that. Gary's saying you could even use it to make some original swag. So that, do the silhouettes, do it different things that you can use. Coming up for next year, maybe you start making your Christmas ornaments now. I don't know. There's just a whole bunch of different things. You're not even having to do it as making geocaching related. So you can do a whole bunch of different stuff, a lot of different aspects with this technique that you can do. And I really do hope that you have all enjoyed this. Now, Chad, next week's not the build week. What are we going to be doing next week?
That's a good question. I think what we're going to do is finally start putting the labeling on the caches, maybe showing how to put some greeblies on my sci-fi cache and everything like that. And that should lead us up to, we still have one more in between.
We still have one more week. Yeah.
That builds. So we're just kind of slowly building up to the sci-fi build. And then, hopefully we get several people on to show what they built.
All right. So last week we showed the different aspects of different sci-fi caches and doing like a template, how to do the windows. This week was weathering. Next week, we're going to be trying to work on labeling. So what's another aspect that we could add to a cache on your labels? Like we were talking about the stencils just there. Maybe showing some other techniques that you can do that really can make your cache pop. So that's what we're going to be doing next week, is going to be doing the labeling on that aspect of it, adding, what would you call them? Greeblies?
Greeblies. Just all the little bumps and notches and odds and end things on a cache to make it look spacey.
Okay. Kind of like what you have back there on your signal and carbonite back there.
Yes.
So,
yeah. Exactly.
So yeah, that's just a lot. Let me, sorry, my tongue's tripping over my beard. Anyway, so just those different things just to really make the cache just really pop, to add that little bling to it. But hey, don't forget, if you're building a sci-fi cache, send us an email at gadgettalkpodcast@gmail.com. And both Chad and I get that. And we'd love to see what you're building. We'll set you up to be on the show at the end of the month on there. Also, send us, if you are building something or you see a really cool one, you know what? Tag us on Instagram at Gadget Talk Podcast. We'd love to see that because we're always looking for different ideas and maybe different aspects of it. Also, if you have a show idea, Rumbacast was giving us a whole bunch of shows last week, and we're going to be coming back to those as well. But you can just email us at gadgettalkpodcast@gmail.com as well. So those are really great. And I cannot forget to mention, don't forget to sign up if you haven't checked out the page for going at Cache Fest this year in July. We are having, a Gadget Academy. So you don't want to miss that. You want to come out for that, be part of that, get the package so you can be part of the Gadget Academy, where you'll get to be building a Gadget cache with Chad and myself and maybe some of the other builders that you've seen on here on the show. So it's going to be a lot of fun. So don't want to miss that. So get your will attendant on that and then go check that out. It's cachefest.com. where you can get the packages. Coins, those, oh my goodness. Those guitar coins are selling fast. If you have not gotten your guitar coin, you need to get it soon because they're going to be gone. Okay, so they're selling fast. And of course, you got the crates that are being made now as well. So you don't want to forget those. All that helps with Cache Fest. So don't forget any of that. So, all right, Chad, did I miss anything?
No, that's about it. You covered everything there at the end. Yeah, if you have any ideas for future shows, if you want to know how we do some kind of technique or how I would do it or Derek, send us an email. Let us know. We'll be happy to try and cover something for you if we can. But other than that, we appreciate you guys, coming on and watching the show.
Yep, we sure do. And so we try and keep this to an hour. So, because I know there's other things that are going on as well. But hey, I want to thank you for joining us tonight or today, this morning, whenever you're getting to watch this. Really do appreciate it. And those links for the different aspects for the Bondo or the filler, the latex, liquid latex, and even the airbrush aspect and the cake decorating stand is all in the chat. So go check that out. And I will try and get those also in the description down below on this after everything's finished, so that you can go ahead and click on those. And those are affiliate links, and those do help the channel. So we really do appreciate that. So, but all those are in there. So don't go check those out. And thank you for joining us. I'm glad we weathered through this, Chad. I'm glad we weathered through this.
Yeah, thank you. Appreciate it. Yeah, I'm glad we did.
Yep. Sorry. Okay, I'm done with the puns on this one. So, but all right. So we will see you next week for the next aspect of blinging up your gadget cache or cache in general. So, all right, Chad. See you next week, and we'll see everybody next week as well.
Good night, everybody.
Good night.